How's it going, everybody? Thank you for watching another episode of Short Guy Drinks Whiskey, and we're back to drinking bourbon. Oh yes, tonight we're checking out Bulleit Bourbon Frontier Whiskey.
Up until now, I really didn't have a problem with drinking whiskey out of a container that looks like this versus this. But what happens when a non-whiskey drinker like myself starts taking whiskey more seriously? Will I ever be able to tell the difference between a scotch or a bourbon, or pull out those awesome aromas that all the sommeliers can out of a Glencairn glass? But most importantly, out of 365 days, where will I rank the world's top whiskeys versus the lower ones? Let's find out as Short Guy Drinks Whiskey.
Now, the Bulleit family has a long history of making bourbon, going back to the 1800s. Back then, the mash bill was primarily rye, which kind of holds true to this expression right here. It's got about 28% rye in it, which makes it a high rye whiskey, not necessarily a rye whiskey, because if it was a rye, it would have to have 51% rye, but it's definitely noticeable. Most other whiskeys may have, I would say, between 15 and around 10% rye, but this guy is a one spicy meatball. Now, my first experience with Bulleit was in an old-fashioned in a bar, so I ordered whatever they were going to put in it. So I started to drink it, and as I was swallowing it, I remember thinking to myself, man, this is difficult to swallow. It's like drinking 40 grit sandpaper or trying to swallow flannel after being trapped in the desert for 2 days. It just wasn't going down smooth. So with no bitters and nothing distracting from the taste, I'm expecting this to be pretty decent on the alcoholic level. Really rough and leathery with a lot of spice in it. Let's get it in a glass. Alright, this color is on the darker side. Dare I say that is an amber, not a honey color, because honey's a little bit lighter, but check that out. There's a good look at it for you guys there. Alright, gonna let that sit and breathe for a while. Alright, so that's been sitting for a few minutes now. As I came into the room, not a strong whiskey smell. Of course, at 90% proof and 45% ABV, it's not going to be very strong in smell. But let's get under the nose. Alright, let's give this a smell. Okay, what's funny is, it's not the alcohol that's burning me, it's the spiciness in here. It's so spicy, you can really smell that rye. I think that's what it's from. Oh, and right there, right on the top end, you can smell the sweetness of the charred oak barrel with just a hint of some kind of citrus, like maybe some orange. But the spice is so heavy, it's like clove in there. Oh, it's going to be tough to drink. Let's give it a taste. Alright, let me give this one last smell before tasting it. Yeah, that spice is in there. You know what? This is going to be a little bit chewy, a little bit textury, probably a little bit more like sandpaper. Let's give it a taste. It's so spicy. So spicy. The texture is fantastic. But man, whew, spicy, little bit of burn. On the follow through there, but on the palate, super spicy, really meaty. Let's go for taste 2. You can almost chew on this. I got that spice just burning out of my mouth. And what's really peculiar about this is as you're tipping it back, like I mentioned, I'm getting a lot of that charred oak barrel just coming up right on the top. Really pleasant smell. Nice burn, nice warm burn from that spice going all the way down. Whew. Definitely not the smoothest bourbon I've ever had. Alright guys, so what are my final thoughts on the Bulleit bourbon here? Well, I think for beginners, maybe not the best place to start because this is really complex, it's really meaty, and there's a lot of spice in it, which can be confused as alcoholic burn, but really I think it's that high rye content in here. Now, if you're really into rye, they make a rye that's almost all rye, like never mind 51% rye, that thing's up at I think in like 70 or 80%. But if you do enjoy rye and you don't want to get into an actual rye, this might be the solution for you. Now, would I go in and buy an entire bottle of this stuff? Probably not, because it is, like I said, it's a spicy meatball. But if you like them hot, this might be the way to go. Guys, that's the ending of the video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you liked it, please give it the thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to Chemo365, please do. Remember, I'll catch you guys laters.